But what if I told you that your energy is not just changing? It's being directed, manipulated, and controlled without your consent. Think about it. Have you ever felt drained for no reason, pushed into action you didn't consciously choose? Do you ever wonder why the world feels like it's constantly in a state of conflict, urgency, and pressure to move, fight, and conquer? What if the force behind it all was something far older than governments, corporations, or even human civilization itself? There's a hidden force shaping your life right now, and it has been influencing humanity for thousands of years. A force so powerful that entire empires have risen and fallen under its influence. It's not just a concept. It's not just an idea. It's a planetary energy that pulses through everything, from the way you think to the way the world moves. This is the energy of Mars, the planet of war, the planet of action, the planet that fuels everything from competition to aggression, ambition to destruction. And here's the shocking part. It's not just influencing history, politics, and economics. It's shaping you. Your decisions, your emotions, your very life force is being manipulated through the unseen power of Mars, without you even realizing it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Mars controls your energy, how this system was carefully built to keep you locked in a cycle of conflict and exhaustion, and most importantly, how to break free. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Stay with me until the end. This might change everything you thought you knew. Mars has been watching over humanity since the beginning of time. The ancients knew its power. They saw it in the red glow of the night sky, a celestial fire that never faded, never wavered. They called it the god of war, the force of conquest, the bringer of both destruction and victory. But what they understood, what we have forgotten, is that Mars is not just a planet. It is a force that moves through everything, from the rise and fall of empires to the way you wake up in the morning, to the conflicts that shape your reality. Mars is energy in its purest form: action, aggression, survival, desire. It fuels the drive to win, the need to push forward, the instinct to defend or attack. It is the spark that ignites revolutions and the same force that keeps society locked in an endless struggle. Every war, every battle, every conflict in history is a reflection of this planetary energy. And yet, it's not just on the battlefield. It's in your job, your relationships, your emotions. The system you live in has learned to use Mars against you, to keep you in a state of constant motion, always chasing, always fighting for something, never stopping to question why. Look around. The world runs on competition. Business is war. Politics is war. Success is about fighting to the top. Everything is framed as a battle, winning or losing, rising or falling. From a young age, you're told to push harder, move faster, fight for your place. Schools reward those who dominate. Sports train you to be aggressive. Advertisements tell you to crush the competition, to conquer your fears, to take what's yours. Even social media is a battleground of opinions, attention, and influence. You are taught that to slow down is to lose, to hesitate is to fail, to surrender is to disappear. This is not an accident. Those in control understand how to use Mars to keep you in line. They don't want you to question the system. They want you to burn your energy in endless struggles, working harder, chasing goals, staying angry, staying divided. The more you fight, the more you exhaust yourself. The more exhausted you are, the easier you are to control. This is how the energy of Mars is weaponized against you. The signs are everywhere, hidden in plain sight. The red in national flags, the obsession with dominance in sports, in finance, in power, the push for non-stop productivity, where rest is seen as weakness and aggression is rewarded, the glorification of warriors, of fighters, of those who never back down, the way the system encourages division, setting people against each other in politics, in culture, in belief. The more you focus on fighting an enemy, any enemy, the less energy you have to see who is really pulling the strings. Mars is about action, but action without direction is chaos. And that's exactly what the world is built on. Look at the cycles of crisis that never end. One war replaced by another, one economic collapse followed by the next. Fear and conflict keep people distracted, engaged, reactive. Governments, corporations, media, they all feed off this energy, manipulating Mars to keep the world in a constant state of high alert. If people are always fighting, they will never have the time to realize they don't have to. This is why everything feels urgent, why you feel pressure to keep moving, to keep achieving, to keep chasing something you can never quite reach. Mars in balance is power, confidence, forward motion. But Mars out of control? It's rage, exhaustion, destruction. And right now, the system thrives on imbalance. But here's the secret. You don't have to play their game. The energy of Mars is not evil. It is a tool. Fire can burn a city to the ground, or it can be the light that guides you home. The problem is not Mars itself, it's how it has been hijacked, twisted into a force of control instead of liberation. If you don't understand it, you will be ruled by it. If you do, you can harness it. The world is designed to make you fight. But what if you stopped? What if you took that energy and used it for yourself instead of wasting it in battles that were never yours to begin with? What if you directed that power instead of letting it be directed for you? The choice has always been yours. You just weren't supposed to know it. Words are power. They shape how you think, how you act, how you see yourself and the world around you. But what if the words you use every day were never really yours? What if they were designed to keep you trapped in a system built on conflict, on action without reflection, on constant struggle? Mars doesn't just control energy. It controls language. And language controls you. Think about the words you hear all the time. Fight for your dreams. Conquer your fears. Crush the competition. Win at all costs. Hustle harder. Never back down. These phrases aren't just motivational slogans. They are commands, instructions that push you into a constant state of battle, even when there is no real enemy. They shape the way you see success, the way you measure your own worth. If you're not fighting, you're losing. If you're not chasing, you're failing. If you're not moving, you're falling behind. But who decided this? Who benefits from a world where you are always in survival mode, always burning energy, always pushing, but never arriving? Look at how Mars hides in the way we speak. War metaphors are everywhere. Business strategies are attacks. Market competition is warfare. When companies fail, they sink. When the economy crashes, it needs a bailout. Currency flows like water, but power moves like fire. Even in your personal life, relationships are battles. Arguments are fights. People put up walls, break down defenses, hold their ground. Everything is framed in terms of conflict, of aggression, of winning and losing. This isn't just random, it's a program. Mars is the force of impulse, of instinct, of movement. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't stop to think. It acts. And the system you live in runs on that exact energy. It wants you to react, not reflect. It keeps you in a constant state of urgency, so you never have time to step back and see what's really happening. The news is designed to keep you angry, to keep you fighting, to keep you choosing sides. Social media thrives on outrage, on making you engage, on keeping you locked in an endless cycle of reaction. Governments and corporations use fear to make you act without thinking. The more you react, the more you play into their system. This is why everything feels like a crisis. Every day, there is something new to be angry about, something new to fight for, something new to divide people. The system feeds off your energy. It doesn't matter what side you pick, as long as you pick one. Because the moment you pick a side, you step onto the battlefield. And once you're on the battlefield, you are playing their game. They don't need you to win or lose. They just need you to keep fighting. Look at how Mars shapes identity. People define themselves by what they are against, not what they are for. Politics, religion, culture. Everywhere, people are told to take a stance, to defend, to resist. But the more energy you spend fighting an enemy, the less you have to build anything of your own. This is why revolutions often replace one system of control with another. People get so caught up in tearing something down that they forget to ask what comes next. Mars drives destruction, but it doesn't naturally create. It burns everything in its path unless it is controlled. Even on a personal level, this programming runs deep. People are told that success means working harder, pushing themselves to exhaustion, competing against everyone around them. Slowing down is failure. Resting is weakness. Taking a step back means losing momentum. This is how the system keeps you in motion, always burning energy, never conserving it. It doesn't want you to be still. It doesn't want you to reflect. It doesn't want you to reclaim control of your own power. But here's what they don't tell you. Mars is not just a force of destruction. It is a force of transformation. Fire doesn't just burn. It purifies. It reshapes. The key is learning how to use it, instead of letting it use you. If you don't understand your own energy, someone else will direct it for you. If you don't control your impulses, they will be manipulated. If you don't choose where your energy goes, the system will choose for you. You don't have to be at war with yourself. You don't have to prove your worth by exhausting yourself in endless battles. You don't have to fight just because they tell you to. The moment you realize this, everything changes. You start seeing the patterns, the programming, the ways your energy has been directed without your consent. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The system counts on you never asking these questions. It needs you to stay reactive, to stay caught in the illusion of constant movement. But you don't have to play their game. You can take a step back. You can choose where your energy goes. You can stop feeding a system that only exists because you fuel it. Mars is power, but power means nothing if it is not in your hands. The question is, who is controlling yours? Mars has always ruled the world, but not in the way you think. It is not just a red planet drifting in space. It is a force, a system, an energy that has been embedded into the foundations of power, shaping how society functions, how decisions are made, and how control is maintained. The world you live in has been built around Mars, not as a cosmic accident, but as a deliberate design. Governments, economies, wars, even the way you perceive success and failure, it all follows the patterns of Mars. And once you start looking, you will see it everywhere. History is a cycle of conquest and collapse. Empires rise through force and ambition, and they fall when that energy burns out. Rome, the empire that ruled most of the known world, was built on Mars. Its entire structure revolved around war, expansion, dominance. Its god of war was the most revered, the protector, the one who dictated power. Strength was survival. Conflict was necessary. And even when Rome fell, the world never abandoned this way of thinking. The same principles were absorbed into modern governments, hidden under new names, new symbols, but always following the same blueprint. The global system still operates on the energy of conquest, but now the battlefield has changed. Wars are no longer just fought with swords or guns. They are fought with laws, with markets, with information. The control of energy has shifted, but the influence of Mars has not disappeared. It has simply evolved. Politics is war by other means. Every election is a battle. Every leader is expected to fight, to defend, to attack. The language of governance is still the language of conflict. Nations compete for dominance, not just in military power, but in economy, in technology, in influence. The same patterns that dictated the rise and fall of empires now dictate trade agreements, international relations, and the structure of society itself. Everything is framed as a struggle, a game of winners and losers. The world is kept in a constant state of competition, ensuring that no one ever stops to ask why. Look at the way global economies function. The stock market is a battlefield. Companies fight for market share, for dominance, for survival. A business does not just succeed, it crushes its competitors. Corporations rise by eliminating rivals, by securing more territory, by expanding their reach. The same strategies that once determined the outcome of wars now determine the fate of industries. The energy of Mars fuels capitalism itself. The drive to expand, to consume, to grow endlessly without ever stopping. Success is measured by aggression, by the ability to take more, control more, dominate more. And just like in warfare, the ones who hesitate, who slow down, who try to step away from the fight, are the ones who disappear. This is not just a metaphor. The financial system has been engineered to function like a war machine. Debt is a weapon. Interest is a siege. Markets rise and fall like tides, manipulated by those who understand how to control the flow of energy. Banks do not simply hold money, they control its movement, its direction, its impact. Money itself is a force, and just like the soldiers of ancient wars, the people who generate it are expendable. Workers are foot soldiers in an economic battle they did not choose, fighting for survival in a system that demands constant output, constant sacrifice. Productivity is praised, not because it benefits individuals, but because it feeds the machine. Rest is discouraged. Slowing down is seen as failure. The system thrives on motion, on relentless energy, on the constant pressure to push forward at all costs. Governments operate on the same principles. Policies are designed like military strategies, aimed at control, at influence, at maintaining power. Social structures are built to keep people engaged in battles they do not even realize they are fighting. The media ensures that attention is always focused on conflict, on divisions, on crises, on narratives that keep people distracted, reactive, and obedient. When people are fighting each other, they are not questioning the system. When they are consumed by fear, by anger, by the need to resist or defend, they have no energy left to see the bigger picture. This is why everything in the world feels urgent, why crises are never ending, why there is always something to be outraged about, to protest against, to defend. The system is fueled by Mars, by the need to act, to react, to fight. But the most dangerous part is how this control extends beyond politics and economics. It reaches into the way you experience reality itself. The energy of Mars is embedded into the very fabric of daily life. It dictates how people interact, how they measure success, how they define their own worth. From the moment you enter the system, you are trained to be a competitor. Education is structured like a battle. Students compete for grades, for recognition, for validation. The workplace is designed for constant struggle, for hierarchies that demand submission, for systems that reward aggression and punish hesitation. Even relationships are shaped by Mars. Dating is a game, love is a chase, interactions are framed as wins and losses. Every aspect of life is filtered through the lens of conflict, making it impossible to step outside of the fight. This is why so many people feel exhausted, burned out, drained. They are constantly engaged in a war they never signed up for, spending their energy in battles that do not benefit them. The system is designed to keep them running, to keep them pushing forward, to keep them believing that if they just work harder, fight longer, sacrifice more, they will finally reach a place of peace, of success, of security. But that place never comes, because the system is not designed to end the fight. It is designed to sustain it. Mars is power, but power in the wrong hands becomes control, and that is exactly what has happened. The energy that once drove warriors and conquerors now drives economies, governments, and the daily lives of billions. And the worst part, most people do not even realize it. They do not see how their energy is being directed, how their instincts are being manipulated, how their actions are being controlled. They believe they are making choices, that they are fighting for something real. But in reality, they are just playing a role in a system that was designed long before they were born. But here is the secret. You do not have to play the game. The energy of Mars is not inherently destructive. It is raw force, waiting to be directed. Those who control the system understand this. They know how to harness it, how to use it to shape reality. And they count on the fact that you do not. They count on the fact that you will stay reactive, that you will keep fighting, that you will burn your energy in endless struggles that lead nowhere. But you do not have to. The moment you step back, the moment you start seeing the patterns, the moment you recognize how Mars has been used against you, that is the moment everything changes. The system will not tell you this. It will not teach you how to take control of your own energy. It will keep you distracted, engaged, always looking outward, never inward. But once you understand, you will see the truth everywhere. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Your energy is not just yours. It is being harvested, directed, and drained every single day. The world you live in has turned your life force into a commodity, a resource to be extracted. Just like oil, just like electricity, just like water. The system is designed to keep you moving, working, struggling, fighting. Not for yourself, but for something else, something you were never meant to see. This is the hidden war. And you are not just a soldier. You are the fuel. Mars is action, movement, intensity. It is the energy that pushes people forward, that makes them chase, that makes them fight. But what happens when that energy is not yours to control? What happens when the force that should be driving your own progress is instead being directed into a machine that never stops consuming? The system knows exactly how to tap into this energy, how to provoke it, how to manipulate it, how to keep it flowing where it is needed. And where it is needed is never in your hands. Think about the way society is structured. From the moment you wake up, your energy is already being siphoned. You are pushed into motion before you even have time to think. You are told what to do, where to go, what to focus on. Notifications pull your attention. The news floods you with crisis after crisis. Your job demands your time. Your bills demand your labor. Everything is urgent. Everything is pressing. You are always in a state of reaction, never in control, never deciding how your energy is spent. You are just spending it, and spending it, and spending it. This is why exhaustion is normal. This is why stress is a lifestyle. The system is built on depletion. It does not want you rested. It does not want you balanced. It wants you tired enough to comply, but active enough to keep producing. If you burn out, you become useless. If you slow down, you become a problem. So the cycle is carefully managed. Just enough pressure to keep you moving. Just enough distraction to keep you from asking why. Your energy is a currency. And just like money, it is being traded, invested, stolen. Wars are not just fought on battlefields. They are fought in boardrooms, in offices, in screens, in endless scrolling, in debt, in contracts, in deadlines. The system does not care how you burn your energy, as long as you keep burning it. Whether you are fighting against something or fighting for something, it does not matter. As long as you are fighting, you are feeding the machine. Look at the way conflict is created. The media manufactures outrage. Social media thrives on division. Politics is a never-ending battle. Every issue is turned into a fight. Every discussion is a war. People are pushed to take sides, to engage, to argue, to react. This is not by accident. The more energy people pour into fighting each other, the less they have to see the real enemy, the less they have to ask who is profiting from their exhaustion. And it is not just mental energy. Physical labor is the foundation of the system. People work longer hours for less reward. They trade their health, their time, their strength for survival. Productivity is worshipped, not because it benefits the worker, but because it keeps the system running. If you are not producing, you are failing. If you are not chasing, you are losing. The message is clear: move or be left behind. But left behind from what? What is everyone really running toward? The truth is, most people do not know. They are just running. They are just trying to keep up. They are just trying not to fall. And that is exactly how the system wants it. Because if people ever stopped, if they ever truly paused, if they ever reclaimed their energy, the entire structure would collapse. This is the war you were never told about. The war over your energy. The war to keep you moving, to keep you distracted, to keep you pouring your life force into something that does not belong to you. They take your time, your effort, your passion, your focus, and they convert it into wealth, into power, into control. You are not supposed to realize this. You are not supposed to ask where your energy is really going. But here is the secret. You can stop. You can choose. You do not have to keep playing their game. You do not have to keep burning yourself out for a system that does not serve you. The moment you take back your energy, the moment you stop giving it away without thinking, is the moment you reclaim your power. And that is the one thing they never want you to do. The system is not built on force. It is built on consent. It needs you to participate. It needs you to keep feeding it. And once you understand that, once you see the hidden war for what it is, you have a choice. You can keep running, or you can stop. You can let them take your energy, or you can take it back. You have spent your whole life giving away your energy without realizing it. Every argument, every deadline, every moment spent chasing something that never truly belonged to you. Every time you fought battles that were never yours. Every time you burned yourself out for a system that only took and never gave back. But what if you could stop? What if you could break free? What if the energy that has been used to control you could be reclaimed, redirected, and turned into something entirely your own? The truth is, it can. But first, you have to see the system for what it is. Mars was never meant to be a weapon against you. It was meant to be a tool for power, for movement, for creation. The problem is, you were never taught how to use it. You were only taught how to give it away. The system depends on this. It keeps you reactive, keeps you distracted, keeps you believing that motion is progress, that struggle is necessary, that exhaustion is a badge of honor. But none of that is true. The only real power is in control. And the moment you take control of your own energy, the moment you stop letting it be directed by forces outside of you, everything changes. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. And now, you see it. You see how your energy has been drained, how your instincts have been manipulated, how you have been pulled into conflicts that do nothing but keep you engaged, distracted, and exhausted. The moment you recognize the pattern, it starts to lose its power. The world wants you to keep reacting. Stop. It wants you to keep fighting. Pause. It wants you to keep chasing. Walk away. The system only works if you play the game. The moment you step outside of it, the rules no longer apply. The second step is reclaiming control. Mars is action, movement, fire. It pushes you forward. But forward to where? That is what they never want you to ask. The world has programmed you to act without direction, to move without questioning why, to burn energy without knowing where it is going. The key is simple. Stop letting others decide where your energy flows. Do not give your attention to meaningless distractions. Do not waste your time on battles that do not serve you. Do not let your emotions be controlled by news cycles, by social media, by fear, by outrage. Every time you react, every time you engage with something designed to provoke you, you are feeding it. Stop feeding what does not serve you. The third step is redirecting the energy. You have spent years, maybe decades, burning energy in ways that do not benefit you. That ends now. Your energy is not infinite. It is not something to waste. It is the most valuable thing you have. And the moment you begin to guard it, to protect it, to use it with purpose, you become untouchable. The system can only control people who are constantly drained, constantly exhausted, constantly fighting a war they do not understand. But a person who is in control of their own energy, who directs it instead of reacting, who moves with purpose instead of compulsion, is something they cannot control. That is real power. This does not mean withdrawing from the world. It means engaging with it on your terms. It means knowing when to fight and when to walk away. It means understanding that not every battle is yours. It means being deliberate with your energy, knowing when to push forward and when to conserve. Mars is fire. Fire can destroy, but it can also forge, refine, strengthen. The difference is whether you are using it or whether it is using you. The system wants you to believe you have no choice. That is the greatest lie ever told. You always have a choice. Every moment, every decision, every reaction is an opportunity to reclaim your energy or to give it away. The world will keep pulling, keep demanding, keep pushing, but the only way it succeeds is if you let it. The moment you decide that your energy belongs to you, that it is not for sale, not for rent, not for exploitation, the entire game changes. They need you to stay in motion. They need you to keep reacting, to keep spending yourself in endless cycles of struggle. But you do not have to. The moment you stop, the moment you reclaim your fire, the moment you decide where your energy goes, you are no longer a resource. You are no longer fuel for their machine. You are something they cannot touch. And that is the one thing they never wanted you to realize. You were never supposed to see it. You were never supposed to question why you feel drained, why you feel like you are always fighting, always pushing, always burning energy, but never arriving. The system was designed to keep you running, to keep you engaged, to keep you pouring your energy into a machine that only exists because you fuel it. But now you know. Now you see the game for what it is, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Mars was never the enemy. The energy was never the problem. The problem was how it was used against you, how it was taken from you without you even realizing it. They counted on you never questioning it. They counted on you believing that exhaustion was normal, that struggle was necessary, that the fight was just the way life was. But it is not. It never was. The moment you stop playing their game, the moment you take back control of your own energy, everything shifts. You do not have to fight every battle they put in front of you. You do not have to react to every crisis they throw at you. You do not have to burn yourself out chasing goals that were never yours to begin with. The world will try to pull you back in. It will try to make you feel like you are falling behind, like you are missing out, like you are failing. That is how they keep you running. But you are not behind. You are not missing out. You are waking up. The choice has always been yours. Keep playing their game or step outside of it. Keep feeding their system or reclaim what was always meant to be yours. Keep burning yourself out or take back your fire. The system only works if you let it. Now you know the truth. Now you decide. If this opened your eyes, if you see the patterns now, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Tell me what you see now that you could not see before. And remember, once you see it, you can never unsee it.